everybody, it's Catherine from Jayne Catherine on Books, and I apologise I've not done a film for a couple of weeks, but it's been really busy and various things going on, so catching up now with everything. I've got loads to catch up on. Firstly, I'd just like to briefly mention Manchester, the bombing in Manchester, and just want to say that our best wishes and our hearts and prayers go out to everybody affected. My son Joe does work in Manchester sometimes, and he is involved with arenas, and I was so heartened by the fact that 50 people contacted him to see if he was safe, and and everything that's gone on, all the good and all the help and all the lovely things that we've seen since, just shows you that there's more good than evil. There's a lot of good human kindness. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. So final wrap up for May. As you know, I did seems so long ago now, didn't it, when we did BuddyAThon with Carroll from Woman vs Books, and for the rest of May I participated in middle grade May, and they're the ones, yes, are they all middle grade? Yes, they're the ones that I'm going to review now for you, in the beautiful garden again. It's 10:15 in the morning and it's red hot already, so I thought better film quickly before it gets too sunny and I've got to screw my eyes up even more. Nelson starts barking at everything going on, or we start getting some sort of building noise going on around. So here we go. Further ado, first one, Paper Towns by John Green. Lovely cover. Was really looking forward to this. John Green, The Fault in Our Stars, much spoken about on BookTube. I DNF'd it. Just couldn't get into it. I just tried. I just really couldn't get into the writing. I think probably my lovely American friends would enjoy this. I think that's sort of where it's based, and probably would have a better understanding of it. So don't discount it. But I just couldn't get into it. Sorry, got to bend forward. Put my books on that chair. Can't just sling them on the floor out here like I do in the lounge, can I? Next, The Disappearing Duchess, Imogen Rossi. Now, as I showed you in my TBR, this is I'm squinting now. This is a trilogy, and it's middle grade, and it's in a fictional place called La Laminosa, and we've got Bianca, who is an apprentice to a famous artist. So we've got some murder mystery going on, and also there's a bit of magical realism in this. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm going to carry on reading the other two in the trilogy. Yeah, I think it's an enjoyable read, so worth recommending to your kids. The one that let's have a look. No, we'll do this one next. So Panther, David Owen. This is his debut novel. Yes, this was good. It looked at mental illness in from a teenager's perspective, and showing that not just the person that's suffering struggles with what's the word I'm thinking of? Struggles with dealing with somebody in the family with depression, and it causes this young lad to start getting eating disorders, and he chases a panther which supposedly been seen in the allotments behind their house. He has the impression that if he catches this panther, all will be well at home and his sister will be well. Yes, I enjoyed that. At times the character Derek did some silly things, and there was odd things in there that annoyed me. I gave it 4 stars. The things that did annoy me sort of just took that 1 star off. Very well worth a read. Very good for teenagers, middle grade, to get a better understanding of mental health. This one isn't a middle grade, but I'm wrapping it up anyway. Evening is the whole day. And this is Preeta Samarasan, yeah. And this is our book, Around the World Book Club read for May. With this is hosted by Melanie from Mel's Bookland Adventures, and oh, I really liked this. It's set in Malaysia, and it's sort of post-colonial, so there's still some changes going on there. And we've got Chellam, who is a slave, for want of a better word, and she is asked to leave her father's house and go and look after a rich family, as it were, mainly to look after the elderly mother. And it's a family drama really, but set in a backdrop of Malaysia, what the times were like in Malaysia. A very flawed family. It's intriguing when you see all the twists and turns. Chellam is accused of something, and he's being forced to leave that household. There's something going on with the father that's a bit underhand. There's 3 children, and I really feel for them. There's one that's ready to go off to uni. There's a boy who's a little bit indifferent to it all, everything that's going on. And then we've got Asha, who's the little 6-year-old who just wants to be loved and cuddled and accepted by everybody. They've got a very flawed mother and a very flawed grandmother. Intriguing, the twists and turns. Look at me doing this. Twists and turns. Very slow, though. It is a slow burner, and it is more character driven, more about the family saga. So if you want a really fast paced this may not be for you. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. There were some sections in there that the thing why I didn't give it 5 stars is that it kept, although we're looking back in time, we're looking at different time frames, there was no real proper chronological order for it. So we'd go back in time and you'd find out what was happening, and then a few pages later we're going back in time, but a completely different back in time to what the last chapter covered. And I found myself going back a couple of times to sort of try and ground myself to where everything was in its place and the chronological order of it. That was my only downfall with it, so I gave it 4 stars to 4.5. Well worth a read, it was lovely. And then my 2 favourites last. Letters from a Lighthouse, Emma Carroll. This was recommended as the book of the week, the middle grade book of the week by Waterstones. And yes, I really enjoyed this. I loved it. It's based in the war, in the Second World War, when children were evacuated from the cities, and mainly London, for their own safety. And Olive, young girl, is evacuated out to the Devonshire coast and goes to live in a lighthouse with her brother. Sister's missing, and there seems to be some mysterious circumstances for the sister going missing, and we're wondering if there's a bit of espionage going on in here. And what I liked about it, it was a very well written account of what it was like to be a refugee in a way, in the war, albeit temporary. So they were evacuated out to homes, and what it felt like. I mean, some of these children never even seen the sea. You know, they come from the London Docklands and never even seen the sea. And also it was educating the other children there that we need to look to those that are less fortunate than ourselves, really. Sends really good messages across to our kids, I feel. And, you know, there were some refugees, some Jewish refugees that were rescued, and there was a lot of animosity at first. but then it's showing out how, you know, human nature can change, and for the better. And I just think that it really sort of, as well as being a well written, lovely story, I think it got some really good morals and some really good things to teach our children. And I think that's good, that, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, that for children to realise that there are some really lovely things that happened in the past in difficult circumstances, and will go on. Well worth a read. I'm going to read that again sometime. I loved it. Typical middle grade book that I would have really enjoyed as a child, and loved as an adult. So yeah, 5 stars. And then my last book is Evas Ghost, and this is by Helen Peters. Now look at that cover. That's a lovely cover on the front, a bit mysterious, a bit spooky looking. Now if you remember, if you saw my TBR, I had to take this one back because there was a problem that the first chapter was all cut wrong with when it was produced, when it was published, printed. So I went and stopped this, and this is wonderful. I loved it. It's historical, and we've got Evie, and while her mother's on a honeymoon, she goes to stay with godmother. I was trying to think of the word then. She goes to stay with the godmother, a best friend of her mum's, in this big old house that's a bit eerie, but it's been converted into apartments now. And she goes to stay there, and one night she thinks that she's having a dream, and there's some mysterious face at the window of a young girl, and she's scared initially, so she goes running through the bedroom door into the hallway and finds herself in a different time era. She finds herself, I'm trying to think, it's 1814, and she's dressed as a housemaid. And so we've got two time frame narratives going on in this, and it's well woven in. You don't get confused, you know where you are with the story, and it just makes me smile, because, and it'll make you mothers smile when you've got kids of a certain age who, they take you for granted. They're quite happy for you to wash, cook, clean and iron, don't they? And don't appreciate what it's like to have running water, and don't have to go miles to go and get some go and empty the potty from, and you have to smile because she's thinking, oh, where's the washing up liquid? And the look at her gone out. Oh, where's the marigolds, to do the washing up? And it's quite a smile, because she comes back, when she does eventually come back fully to present day, she realises that perhaps she ought to help her mum a bit more. So if for nothing else, there's a really good message there, isn't there? But she's trying to help this girl back in the past, and there's a twists and turns about how this happens, and you don't know if she does manage to do it or not. But cracking read, really enjoyed it. I couldn't have put it down. And for a middle grade book, to keep adults as entertained, I think is the sign of a very good writer, very good author. I'm going to find some more by this lady, and that's Evas Ghost. I'll just show it again because it's gorgeous purple writing on there as well. Okay, so that's the end of my May wrap up. I shall link down below so you can see what I did with Book BuddyAthon, and yeah, see you again next time. Bye for now.